All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all glory, all praises, and honor to Yahweh, Yahweh Shah, by Shema Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, the great millstone who definitely rule and teach well. Mighty Shalom to the hopeful elect and the society who push the truth throughout the four corners of the earth. I'm the brother Yerah from the great millstone branch. The Gary and the Undercamp coming at you with a quick lesson in transit. Pretty much, I was reading this Psalm 126 early today. One of the verses happened to be, the Psalm of the day. I'm here, this little Bible app I have. But I figure I'll just do a lesson since it's a short, chapter. I'll do a lesson, reading through this chapter. But, I was reading, just meditating on it. And pretty much, when you read this chapter, it's pretty much, speaking about, which is a future prophecy of us, pretty much being in the kingdom. Zion, representing, the elect, being delivered, which eventually the whole nation of Israel is going to be, saved. But we know 2/3 for the sake of prophecy is going to be destroyed, on this side, but they're going to come back. Those same spirits are going to come back, through the loins of the elect. And be born into the kingdom. Born into the new covenant, which the new covenant is when the law, statute, commandments is going to be etched within us, and we're going to be pretty much perfected. We're not going to go off. We're not going to sin. Pretty much we're going to be, a program to always do what's right. And as a result of that, we're not going to ever, taste death again. Because as we're in this flesh, we're subject to what? Corruption. Subject to vanity, as the scriptures say, what the creature was subject to vanity, so we're subject to going off. And what's the wages of sin? It's death. And what is sin? Sin is what? Transgression of the law. But nevertheless, Lord willing, we be of the elect. When we receive those new bodies, we're going to be in the kingdom, man. And we always talk about the doom and the gloom, and what's the Lord got prepared for judgment. But we always got to remind that judgment has to take place first so this can be established, which is what? The kingdom of heaven. Anyway, this is Psalms 126:1, a song of degrees. When the Lord turned again the captivity of Zion, we were like them that dream. It's going to be like a dream. Remember the scriptures say what? Our light affliction is not going to be compared to what the Lord pretty much has for us in the kingdom, man. This is a light affliction, man. Cause what's this hell, and because we've been in what captivity, roughly what, close to 400 some years, a little bit over 400 some years, give or take. But what's that's going to be compared to what's that's only going to be a drop in to eternity, man. Imagine living forever. You try to dwell on certain things, and while we're in this flesh, and even this flesh can't comprehend, the fact that you will never get to live forever, man. Pretty much, being, limitless, having no limits, man. Man, think about that, man. Having spiritual powers. Like once again, we always talk about the doom and the gloom. When you may be catching hell and going through things, always remember what the Lord promised for those who endure. What's in store for those, who endure, going through this hell, catching hell, going through, being in this captivity, man. Yeah, we vex constantly, but also we understand, that's a greater reward for those who endure. And that's what? The kingdom of heaven, man. It says, verse 2. Get the fuck out the way. Verse 2, it says, then was our mouth filled with laughter, and our tongues with singing. Then say they among the heathen, the Lord has done great things for them, man. Because even the heathens gonna know and understand. It was not in your might or nothing that you had us in captivity. It was all the will of the Lord at the end of the day. And even when it's all said and done, you heathens gonna appreciate a righteous rulership. when they see how when the true sons of the Most High rule, man, under the son of the Most High, which is Yahweh Shai. This earth ain't. You think Esau? You gonna when they see how we rule the earth, which Lord willing, I myself and those brothers that's laboring on the front line, we be of the elect, and you believers, you be part of the 1/3, the large multitude. But nevertheless, man, hey, you wait and see how we gonna rule, man, under Yahweh Shai. Not only having the new body, but the wisdom, because you gotta think what's gonna come with those new body, man. And wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man. But they said that the human brain only use a certain percentage. We only use a certain percentage of the human brain, or some shit like that. Imagine, man, just having the ability to just and the mind and the wisdom and the knowledge just to create and build, man. We in these flesh. You deal with brain fogs. You can't think clearly. You're limited when you're in this flesh, man, to certain things, man. But imagine in the kingdom, man, how that's going to be like. And some things we can't even, I was going to say, we know in part and prophesy in part. Some things we can't tell. We can't tell you how the new body's going to feel, how it's going to be. Only thing we can do is just imagine, man, right now, man. And knowing that the fact that shit excites you to continue to fight, man. Sometimes, I try to practice, doing that myself. Because sometimes, we catch hell, you can get into get into that war is me and that doom and gloom spirit. No, man, you got to sometimes, man, even in the midst of hell, man, just appreciate the things the Lord do for you. And also, reflect on what the Lord got promised to those that endure. Once again, like I said, man, this is nothing but a light affliction compared to what the Lord got prepared, for his elect, man. And even in the nation of Israel, period. Imagine, man, you be able to walk and walk with animals and never got to worry about a wild beast, destroying you or something like that, man. We can't even fathom something like that. The ability to fly. To read minds, man. How did we get through this? Yeah, I get through that. Slack, yeah, I'm trying to pull into a lot. But yeah, man, imagine that. Anyway, it says, continuing on, verse 3, the Lord hath done great things for us. It says, whereof we are glad. It says, turn again our captivity, O Lord, as the streams in the south. They that sow in tears shall reap in joy. Woo! Because right now we're mourning. Where scriptures say what? The hearts of the wise is in the house of mourning. We're mourning, we're sighing and crying. Even when we do these lessons, but also even within our personal lives, man. Brothers, catching hell, crying, going through shit, man. Some more than others, but nevertheless, man, we're yearning and desiring to get the hell up out of here. That's why the scripture say, well, hey, he that increases knowledge, what? Increases sorrow, because why? You start to see things for what they really are. You see how defiled and wicked this place is, and it vexes your soul every day. Even just like Lot, the scripture say, well, Lot was vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked, man. And we're in the same spirit, man, just constantly vexed, man. There's no true rest. Even when you sleep, you're not really getting true rest, man. Battling demons in your sleep. Or you may eat something bad that night, wake up, have a bad dream. It says, he that goeth forth and weepeth, bear precious seed, shall doubtless come again with rejoicing, bringing his sheaf with him, man. So hey, we're going to be rejoicing, man. We're going to be rejoicing, man. The scripture say, what happy shall that people be. Let's get that precept. I think it's in Psalms. Yes, Spirit, Psalms 144. I'm starting at 11. Matter of fact, I started at 9. It says, I will sing a new song unto thee, O power. Upon the sorceries and the instruments of 10 strings will I sing praises unto thee. It is he that giveth salvation unto kings, who delivered David his servant from the hurtful sword. And And we're hoping to be of the tabernacle of David, the house of David, which Yahweh Shai is going to sit on the throne. And underneath him is going to be King David, you know, the rest of the apostles and 144,000, man. You know, ruling and governing the earth, man. It says, verse 11, rid me and deliver me from the hand of strange children, whose mouths speaketh vanity, and their right hands the right hand of falsehood, that our sons may be as plants grown up in their youth, and that our daughters may be as a cornerstone polished after the similitude of the palaces, that our gardeners may be full according to all matters restored, that our sheep may bring forth thousands and 10,000s in our street, that our oxen may be strong to labor, that there be no breaking in nor going out, that there be no complaining in our streets. It says, happy is that people that is in such a case. Yea, happy is that people whose power is the Lord, man. Whose power is what? Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. You know? So, you know, I'm going to leave it at that. You know, I pray this video was edifying, and more importantly, as well as exhorting, you know, encouraging brothers, hey, continue to fight the good fight of faith. Hey, because believe it or not, like the scriptures say, our salvation is nearer than we believe, man. So I'm going to leave it at that. I pray that this video is edifying. I want to give all praises and glory and honor unto Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, by Shema Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who definitely rule and teach well. Mighty Shalom to the hopefully elect and the Sisakas pushing truth throughout the four corners of earth. Shalom, Kum Yasharala, and Abba Ball.